weren't allowed to sell their items in the shop, so obviously the battle passes would disappear and all of the items inside of them would be gone forever once they ran out. Oh, shit. However, as the years went on, it felt like more and more FOMO tactics were used in Fortnite. Oh, the Omega Carbide Drift and Ragnarok skins have exclusive edits. This is not have an effect to get those edit styles ever again, even though some of them are fundamental parts of the skin. Well, that isn't ideal, is it? The Skull Trooper came back. Oh, but it came back with an edit style that is exclusive to the people that bought it when it was first available, even though that wasn't made abundantly clear to people beforehand. Oh, gee, I guess I'd better buy a bunch of skins just in case they become rare and I get an exclusive style. Can we just talk about how stupid OG edit styles are? It's stupid. Let me just put on the thinking cap here. There was one for Renegade Raider, Aerial Assault Trooper, Paradigm, Skull Trooper, and Ghoul Trooper. I think those are the only ones you can get one for them. Skull Trooper, he wasn't that rare. He was gone for 1 year. I don't understand. He arrived in Halloween 2017, and he came back in Halloween 2018. Why did he need an OG style? I don't get it. Oh, but it makes the OGs happy. Who cares about the OGs? They're a bunch of fucking dickheads anyway. Ghoul Trooper, they artificially made this even more rare by purposely bringing back the Skull Trooper after 1 year, but being like, no. We'll bring the Ghoul Trooper back after 2. Yeah. Oh, are we liking that? It's good, yeah? So obviously he was going to have an OG edit style, the pink one, which, by the way, is pretty good. So not only did they hide an edit style behind a hidden date, but also they hid a good edit style behind a hidden date. Paradigm is the only one that kind of makes sense because it wasn't supposed to come back, and the only reason it did was because it was an accident. I'm still fucking annoyed about that. Why didn't they just bring her back at this point now? And the Renegade Raider and Aerial Assault Trooper, who cares, man? It's the same switches. Like, there's no reason for them to get edit styles, in my opinion. It's stupid. All the OG edit styles do is give self-entitlement to the players that were around back then that makes them feel better than everyone else. Like, Fortnite, you're not their dad. You don't have to be like, yeah, good job, son. Good job of buying the skin 4 years ago, and then we made it red. Good job. Whatever, fucking hell, carry on. We also started getting live events, which are a double-edged sword that I will communication between Epic and the player base. For example, things that Cube would do in Season 5. Then I guess I better log in every day just in case something happens. Fish Stick has an exclusive World Cup edit style for only this week. Oh gee, I guess I better buy it. The Paradigm is an exclusive skin that they'll never sell again. Oh man, I guess I'd better buy it just in case. This was all during Chapter 1, by the way. It only really got worse from here. Whether it was adding more levels to the Battle Pass and making rewards that used to take up 1 tier, take up 2 or 3 so they could artificially inflate the Battle Pass to level 200 without them actually increasing the fucking value, or releasing items in the shop and not bringing them back for years, or restricting gameplay features to specific windows of time, FOMO just started taking over the game. However, there were a few times where I thought maybe naively might end up changing. Let's start with live events. Live events are a beloved part of the game. I think we can all agree on that. However, they do come with the obvious caveat of being live events, meaning they can only happen once, typically, and if you miss it, it's done. Which means if, for example, the servers got flooded and players can't log in, too bad. Or if you played the Unvaulting event and for whatever reason it doesn't trigger, that's a shame. Or the Alien Overlord event doesn't download from UEFN properly, or the Super Showdown event is super laggy, or if you don't check Fortnite's Twitter so you know that restarting the game will fix it, or if you're the 0-hour live event where party functionality was super weird, whatever it was, if you missed it, you missed it.
Predator, power through anything, only at Harbor Freight. One Friday in Tullamore, Ireland.
Isabel? Isabel?
I missed it. I personally have never really been a fan of this. Some of Fortnite's most iconic moments are just unable to be experienced more than once unless you play on a private server. I mean, we got the destruction at Tilted Towers, the Meg vs. the Devourer, the Black Hole, the Flood, the Cube Legion, the Island flipping, fighting the Imagined Order, and the Megs defeating the Dark Presence with the help of the Metaverse. Yeah, you can't do any of that anymore through official means, which sucks. Like, yeah, I get why they're live events, and obviously they're great, but surely they could, like, release a playlist for, like, a week or something, giving players who were working or in school or doing literally anything but playing Fortnite the chance to actually play these live events. Which is where Chapter 2 Season 6's live event comes into play. Zero Crisis. The first and only solo live event. After you'd update the season, you'd start it, you'd play the event. It was simple as that. And what's more, you could replay it if you wanted to. And yes, I know that was because there were issues with the playlist, so Fortnite didn't really have a choice. But still, solo live events were great. Why didn't they do this again? I'm not saying that they should get rid of live events, not at all. Why don't they just have a live version, and then after the season drops, a other version? You know what I mean? I'm just trying to think now, and like the only live event that would really be impacted by the lack of other players is a Fracture. Maybe Collision, but also not really, because Collision could just give you bots and you'd be fine. Like, live events are such an iconic part of the game, and it's just such a shame that you can only experience them once. They're sort of like a form of FOMO in and of themselves. The amount of social situations I've had to basically divert myself from because the Fortnite live event was happening at 7 is ridiculous, and I know that sounds stupid, but it's the truth. And it's bad enough with the big live events, because at least you know when they are, and you'll know that they're never going to happen again. But what about mini events? Fortnite doesn't really like to mention most of them. Up until, what, Super Showdown? They haven't really mentioned them. Think of all the mini events we've had. We've had the Dark Voyage's return, the Pipeline event, the Sandstorm event, Shogun X versus Vigo, which in my opinion was such a crazy event and deserved to be marketed at least once. Fortnite didn't mention any of these. The only mini events they've mentioned since the start of Chapter 5 is Absolute Doom, Super Showdown, and Alien Overlords. All three of which have a prominent collab aspect. Anyway, moving away from live events, we get the item shop. You know, I covered this quite recently, but you know the timer that says leaving today above the items in the item shop? Yeah, that wasn't there until like 3 years ago. We never really knew when items were leaving the shop back in the day. We kind of just had to eyeball it. There was a bit of a system. If they were in the featured area, then they'd be there for 2 days. If they were in the daily area, they'd get removed after 1. It was a whole system. But you never really knew when something was leaving, which means that, oh, I guess I better buy things immediately, otherwise they might be gone tomorrow. Yeah, that's how it was. Not only did we not know when something was leaving, but we also never knew if it was coming back, which is still a problem we have to this day. But thankfully, something changed, and Fortnite got sued for not having a timer, so of course they added it. So here I was, being stupid, being naive, thinking that maybe they'd move away from FOMO, maybe tell us when things were leaving and when they were coming back, especially considering that there are tons of items getting added to the shop every day, which makes it difficult for other items to rotate. There's like, what, 2,500 skins in the game? Like, yeah, maybe they start telling us when things would come back. Yeah, no. You also got to think about free rewards that you unlock through doing quests or logging in or whatever. Back in the day, you had to unlock them during the window or there would be trouble. You wouldn't be able to get them after the window of unlocking. They'd disappear and would never be seen again. However, in around Chapter 5, they started adding the rewards to the item shop. And I like this. Even if you had to pay for them now, it was a way to get the rewards that would otherwise be unobtainable. I don't really have a problem with this because, I mean, it's free for a limited time and then you have to buy it. I think that's okay. That's a form of FOMO that I can be like, you know what, I get behind this, it's fine. I thought that this would become the norm. Yeah, it didn't really though, did it? Sometimes they'll add things to the shop after the fact, but we don't know what will be added or when they'll be added. So tough luck, I guess, you never know. They don't really add them to the shop anymore, I realize. Let's talk about battle passes. They started changing too. Ever since Chapter 5 Season 4, after a year and a half, battle pass items can return to the shop. Except we don't know what will come back or how it will come back. I have a lot of questions about this battle pass returns feature. You know what happens to banners, sprays, and emoticons? Because you know what? They were mentioned. Banners, sprays, and emoticons aren't sold in the item shop typically. So are they going to be sold? Are they going to be free? Are they never going to come back, therefore making the battle pass promise a bit of a lie? What about super styles? You know, they're not going to sell a skin with 8 different edit styles for 1,200 V-Bucks or whatever. So what exactly is going to happen to them? Or what about edit styles? Will they be sold separately because the battle pass treats edit styles like separate skins? How will they be priced? Is it all going to come in one big bundle, or is it going to like are the skins going to be sold individually, or is Captain Jones going to come back to the shop and then Shuri comes back to the shop a different day? How's this going to work? Is everything guaranteed to return? Or what? What's the plan here? Because at the minute, until we see exactly how Fortnite do it, I cannot trust the fact that they are going to be adding things back to the shop. I think, my theory is that they are only going to add basically the collab stuff back. The original skins are basically going to be forgotten unless they were really fan favorites. Edit styles and super styles could possibly be sold separately. Banners, sprays, and emoticons are just going to be gone. And that's it. Let's talk about the crew. Ever since the beginning of the Fortnite crew, there's been a disclaimer saying that they can come back to the game whenever they feel like it, basically. And it's been 6 years and not a single thing has returned. You know, this isn't a huge deal, but, you know, some people might have avoided buying the crew, assuming that the crew would be in the shop at a later date. And 6 years later, they are still waiting. I don't want to call that false advertising, but it isn't telling the truth, is it? Let's talk about jam tracks, gameplay features that used to be sold in large quantities. Not all of them were sold at once in the item shop, which was annoying, but most of them were there. That was until Fortnite Fortnite decided that not enough of them were being sold, and then they limited the Jam Track selection in the shop to like 40, which is ridiculous because they are gameplay items. There are like 400 of them. This move single-handedly killed Fortnite Festival, and all of its content creators basically instantly left. What a brain-dead move that was. And then after it didn't work, they decided, you know what, we're too proud to revert it. We're just going to keep it as it is. So they just took a system that wasn't ideal to begin with and consciously made it worse to hopefully give them more money and fuck over the consumer. Us! The boys! They tried to cover this up by saying that the shop selection was, it was a more curated approach, which is just a nice way of saying, fuck you. Don't think the gameplay can escape either. Of course, the game has to change. It's a live service game. I don't expect things to stay the same. The game makes it obvious that features and loopholes and everything will change, and that's fine. But a creative map doesn't agree with that. When Fortnite changes the stats to guns that are used in BR or OG or whatever, they also change it in creative, which completely ruins the map that they are being used in. If there was a parkour game involving the grappler, once full damage was removed from the grappler, the game was basically broken because you would no longer take full damage. If there was a feature in a creative map that involved a certain gun doing certain damage and the stats get changed, then that's a problem. UEFN creative elements are changed all the time for seemingly no reason. The inflatable was broken for like 3 years for no reason before they fixed it. Every update, I see UEFN developers complaining about their games randomly being broken, and then weeks later I see those same people quitting because Fortnite just doesn't fucking fix the system, all because Fortnite just won't stop changing things for no reason. UEFN just isn't a serious platform at the minute. It isn't. And I'm going to talk about UEFN in a different video. Not this month, not next month, but maybe fucking April. We'll get there. Some other areas, we got Fortnite OG, the Zapatron and the Infinity Blade seem to be items that would be returning semi-frequently throughout the game's lifespan, and the Zapatron was back like 3 times, the Infinity Blade was added once. So, I don't know why they made such a big deal out of it, and they didn't mention that it would only be 1 time. And finally, Power Hours. And I've been very vocal about my feedback for Power Hours since they were added. 1 hour on a random weekend and never again is simply not good enough. Thankfully, it seems like they've sort of started listening to the community. The Love and Legends Power Hour still lasts an hour, but it's on 2 days and 2 different times, 2 weekends in a row, and I think that's much better. I still think they should be longer, maybe 3 hours, 6 hours, or that maybe they should be all throughout the week at random times, but this is a step in the right direction, and I will praise Epic when I can. Good job, guys. There's still some work to be doing, but Power Hours are moving in the right direction. In conclusion, Fortnite is a very FOMO-based game, and I don't know if it's just the way that I think, but that doesn't sit right with me. I don't like that at all. It goes completely against what the community and the player base deserve, and it only benefits Epic Games. Despite what a lot of people in my comments say, it does not benefit the player in the slightest. Name one positive sentiment regarding the players. It's not possible. There is nothing good coming from making players feel like they constantly need to play the game because otherwise they might miss out on a skin or an event or a power hour or free rewards or whatever the fuck. But that's it from me. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to subscribe and use code BIGCraig in the Fortnite item shop, become a channel member or Patreon, do what you want to do, or you can click the funny card.
Get ideas and insights from experts in your field on LinkedIn.
I was diagnosed with diabetes in 2011. I was not a good patient. I couldn't have told you where my glucose levels.
Look, writing is hard. It's a skill that's just not for everyone.
What up, Beth? How you doing?
Dashes they have to delete from their ChatGPT prompt. But dang it, Brian's just gonna keep trying and trying and trying. So today, let's take a look at all the times Brian tried to become a writer, only to, more often than not, fail miserably. So the first mention of Brian ever wanting to be a writer actually comes at the end of Stewie Griffin: The Untold Story.
Dude.
The characters meet up for an after party and talk about
No, this is actually impossible.
I worked on my novel and spent some time getting to know my fans. Give something back to the people who got me where I am. Haunting foreshadowing to Brian's most notorious literary venture, Faster Than the Speed of Love. A novel about a
Playing
pilot
Fishing
or
Planet.
something.
Oh, that's nice.
I don't know, I fall asleep just listening to him describe it, so I don't think I'll ever get around to actually reading it. But in order to read it, Brian has to get around to actually writing it, because when the episode Brian the Bachelor rolls around, it's clear he's still yet to make progress.
Yeah, no, it's actually impossible. It's actually impossible. This game sucks.
Hey, maybe Brian is a true writer. After all, half the battle of being one just involves coming up with a bunch of ideas you'll never actually put to paper. Luckily, Brian has a good friend like Stewie to constantly remind him of it and hold him accountable.
Working on that for quite some time, huh? Yeah, talking about that 3 years ago. Yeah, been working on that the whole time?
Just you wait, Stewie. Brian's...
Alright, I'm back. Anyways, this game's impossible. I ain't doing TS, bro. I swear to God. Let's wait. Wait. Oh, no. There's no way. Oh, wait. Oh, come on! No. They purposefully made it impossible. You can't do anything. Oh, wow, there's a star here.
Just you wait, Stewie. Brian's gonna write a character for you in his novel just to have you killed. Then you'll be sorry you ever mocked him. But to be fair, Stewie's increasing high-pitch to rib Brian over the book is one of the highlights of the early seasons.
Yeah, you got that. No, you deserve some time off.
And Stewie would continue to remind him about his failing career again and again, with the next instance being later in that same season, with the episode Brian goes back to college.
Seems to me you should spend less time working for the paper and more time working on that novel you've been working on.
Yeah, that was bound to happen. Stewie's voice was getting so high that it practically became a dog whistle, so can you really blame Brian for reacting the way he did? But at least Brian was writing something, which is more than can be said for some people who call themselves writers. But Brian would finally get a jump on actually writing his novel in the episode Movin' Out Brian's Song by completing the most important part of any book, the title.
Faster than the speed of love.
Okay, off to a great start. Well, titles can always be changed later. Did you know the Hunger Games used to be called the Starving Activities? I think the new name rolls off the tongue a bit better, right? And while you can't always judge a book by its cover, you can judge it pretty harshly by its contents.
That's the movie Iron Eagle.
What? Is that a recent film? Not only is it not recent, but it's also not even a very good movie. That movie actually came out the same year as Top Gun, and, well, you can probably guess which fighter jet action movie became a household name. You weren't all that slick, Brian.
In mine, the boy's got to gather all these old World War II pilots to help him rescue his father.
That's one of the sequels.
Well, I guess I'd rather him try and copy a bad idea than a good one. A bad idea can at least be improved upon.
Cringe hearing the girl of Brian book title. What? What girl?
Well, in mine, one of the World War II guys is Japanese, but they accept him anyway.
But Brian was trying to write this hard and play it again, Brian.
Which one would you be and why?
If I was a sandwich here, I'd have to be a Walla.
Trying to write from the heart and play it again, Brian, writing an essay inspired by Lois that ends up causing some rifts in his relationship with Peter.
My essay won first prize in the New England Rising Writers Contest. I'm gonna be honored at the big ceremony on Martha's Vineyard.
Well, a broken clock wins an award at least once, is how I think that saying goes. They're also going through a bit of a rough patch, so Brian decides to invite them out to Martha's Vineyard with them so they can have a vacation.
What do you think's keeping Peter? You have to get there before they give you your award.
Well, you're here, Lois. That's enough for me.
I'm sure it is. Everything's lining up just like Brian would like it to. Peter's off getting drunk, and Brian finally has a way of expressing his love to Lois without outright saying it. Love triangles are so messy, especially when they involve your dog.
For circumstance had bound her to my best friend, through whom we met in the warmth and serenity of her home.
Man, not even trying to be subtle about it, huh? I think even complete strangers in that room would know his exact intentions behind that essay. But whatever, it was sweet at least.
That was beautiful, Brian.
Well, you know what they say. Write what's in your heart.
Weird, I didn't hear anything about liquor or distasteful adult websites. Must have been writing from somebody else's heart. So with Peter being neglectful as always, Brian and Lois spend the next day on what onlookers would consider a pretty romantic date. But then they would realize that's a dog and then proceed to throw up in their mouths.
That essay I wrote it about you.
Oh, I had a hunch.
Well, you admitted it, and she didn't immediately call it a night. I guess that means Brian's clear for takeoff to absolutely ruin their relationship.
Oh, see, this helps.
No! Stop it! What are you doing?
I can't help myself, Lois.
Look, it's her fault for giving up the vaguest, non-intentional signals that she was okay with this. If you really didn't want him doing this, you should have said that, ignoring the fact that you didn't say you wanted him to do this either. Well, it's out in the open now, so I guess all they can really learn to do is live with it and move past it.
Okay, well,
this isn't
that's
exactly
good to
the
know, I
happy
guess.
ending Brian wanted. It at least gave him his most personal and
Oh, wait.
bit of writing he's ever produced.
Well, to be honest, Lois, I ripped off most of that speech from Summer of '42.
How?
Of course. Why would we expect anything less from the king of not having a single original thought? But maybe Brian just needs a good editor to go through it, and luckily for him, Stewie decides to become just that when he's accidentally left at home alone and baby not on board.
I'm gonna take Brian's novel and replace every use of the word "and" with the word "fart."
See, Stewie's more closely connected to the younger generation, so this may just be the change that makes the book appeal to a wider audience. But that also kinda sounds like an idea that's funnier in theory rather than in execution.
They would both emerge staffarting on their feet. Yeah, that one didn't work.
You know, we wouldn't be all that shocked if Brian just never did a render of this novel and ended up publishing it in that state. It would definitely explain the reception of the book with later events, and I'll be damned if I give Brian the benefit of the doubt that it was good to begin with. But Brian would eventually finish his book sometime around the events of the episode 420, as Carter would use it as a bartering tool to get Brian's help in making marijuana illegal again.
It's your novel, Brian. Faster than the speed of love. Ready to ship out tomorrow.
Kinda sounds like when Moses threatened to release a swarm of locusts on Egypt. But Carter's gone above and beyond to turn this glorified tree killer into something people may actually consider picking up and reading.
And what's this? Is this an Oprah Book Club sticker? I think it is. Wait, really?
Back then, Oprah was the judge, jury, and executioner on whether a book was worth reading or not. This would be the biggest,
Faster than the speed of
compliment
light is
Brian may
crazy.
ever get for his book. But what's Stewie's opinion on it? After all, he's probably the only one who's come close to actually reading the thing.
Your novel is good enough to be published on its own merits.
Either he was dropping a deuce while he was saying that, or this is a lie that physically pains him to say. But Brian decides to take the bait, abandoning his political morals in favor of having his book out there in the world. And what exactly does the world think about it?
Faster Than the Speed of Love has astonishingly not sold a single copy thanks to the universal panning by literary critics.
Yeah, sounds about right. Well, Brian may not have any pride, dignity, or respect to show for his efforts, but at least his books have found some kind of use.
And Stewie got to build a nice little fort with all of your unsold books.
My house is made of mediocrity.
My house is made of
Humiliation wasn't bad
mediocrity.
enough, Brian also has to endure being belittled about his writing ability by Quagmire, as part of his iconic roast of him in Jerome is the New Black.
And you delude yourself by thinking you're some great writer, even though you're terrible. You know, I should have known Cheryl Teagues didn't write me that note.
It's one thing to have the entire world dunk on you, but it hurts just a bit more when your mortal enemy is the one doing it. But I'd like to think Brian kept writing just to spite him, putting out trash into the world just to make Quagmire angry. He's still polluting the world, but at least he can find some solace in being a terrible writer. But things sometimes turned around for Brian, with his genius finally being recognized. After all, he did end up winning an award for his book in Doggone.
Found a website for a group called the Rhode Island Society for Special Literary Excellence.
And apparently this group liked Brian's book so much that they decided to center their next book discussion around it. So will they be talking about the actual plot, or the best thing you could use the book for if you don't want to read it? Doorstop, paperweight, toilet paper, the possibilities are endless.
They love the book so much, they want to give me their most prestigious award.
My sentiments exactly, Lois.
Yep, he's my idol though.
That's exactly, Lois. It'd be a lot easier to celebrate Brian's successes if he didn't use them to try to act like the next messiah. And maybe Brian should have done a bit more research on the Rhode Island Society for Special Literary Excellence. For starters, their acronym spells bristle, and that's just a bunch of nonsense. Oh yeah, and there's that other thing.
Go to the boob jiggle!
Writing style is very graspable, Sam.
Here's your award, I made it all by myself.
Hey, at this point, you gotta take the audience as you can. Beggars can't be choosers after all. But Brian would take a break from the novel and revisit an old spec script he wrote for a television series in Brian Griffin's House of Pain.
What I Learned on Jefferson Street, written by H. Brian Griffin.
Oh, yes! The H probably stands for Hindenburg, given Brian's propensity for crashing and burning. But Brian actually thinks the script is pretty good, and gently nudges Lois into reading it to get her opinion.
Oh gosh, you know what? I don't even know what I did with the copy that you gave.
Well, just as gently as you can prod someone with a knife. But
Oh,
not only
fuck,
does
yeah,
Lois
it is.
read it, she actually thinks it's the best thing Brian has ever written.
It was enchanting. This Brian
I
Griffin-
really do
I
hope
never
so,
met
man.
Brian Griffin.
He's an elusive creature, but it turns out he does exist, like Bigfoot or a movie based on a video game. And what's weird is he uses her dad's contact to CBS in order to get it picked up for the pilot.
I hope you brought the magic wand you wrote this with.
Yep, right here. Watch, I'll turn this beautiful princess into a toad.
Are we sure he didn't steal this script from somebody? Like, not just took the idea, but put it on purpose. Then again, when you hear some of the dialogue from this thing, you actually kind of believe this is all Brian's work.
Because I discovered a much more precious element. I discovered
Everyone in this room should be chilled for life for entertaining this nonsense. Luckily, Elijah Wood doesn't get involved, which brings him up to be in that one show about the man dog guy. I'm here to audition for this stupid pilot. And as soon as James Woods joins the show, the network begins to do what the network does best, butchering the idea until it's hot from its former self. Seriously, even Jason Voorhees doesn't defile bodies as much as TV network heads do.
Well, it's a lot funnier than what it's not supposed to be funny.
Okay, but what if it was? Brian really makes us see things differently now, doesn't it? But Brian still has the chance to be behind a big network show, and he's not exactly one to admire. So he decides to grit his teeth with the numerous changes.
Oh, that's cool. The pianos actually have a piano sound.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense now that it was on book for street.
The ship of Theseus theory is being tested right before our very eyes. So the show goes through production and finally hits airwaves, but it's not as bad as Brian predicted. It's actually a million times worse.
Someone's doing the monkey. Mr. Nubbins! Well, if you can't beat them...
Oh, someone should have their head beaten into the rock for these. Brian eventually steps away from the project, which is probably the only real noble thing he's done as a writer. But Brian would finally find the smash hit he always wanted, and from writing novels to self-help stuff. In the aptly named episode, Brian writes a bestseller.
There's a note from my publisher. You're returning all of the unsold copies of Masters on the Sea.
Before he does that, what's one more round to find their greatest failure? So as all of Brian's books start to be returned in one piece and shredded for backing, Brian takes this as a sign that his writing career might be over.
Put my heart out there and it keeps getting stomped on. What? I'm done writing.
If only you were a doctor. Without his writing, then what's going to be the reason for his rampant alcoholism? To make matters worse, Brian sees low-effort books rocketing to the top of the charts instead of his definitely well-thought-out novel.
I tell you, I could crack one of those things out in a night. I'm gonna tell Mom you said crap. No, I mean,
No, it's his mom you said crap.
Idiots everywhere would buy it.
Oh yeah, the issue with your first book was that it was too smart. So despite mercifully swearing off writing altogether, Brian decides to take him up on his own challenge and put out a self-help book truly massive.
Use the following blank pages to write down all of your dreams and desires.
He's finally found the secret to
Ah,
writing a great
crap.
book. Make sure it has as little of your own writing in it as possible. But after Stewie sends the book to a publisher, Brian is shocked to learn that Wish It, Want It, Do It is being picked up.
No!
Publishing your book? You're kidding. I can't believe it. That's the worst thing I've ever written.
I guess writing without your heart in it is the way to go. I'm gonna schedule a surgeon to remove my heart and see if we can get an uptick in views. So with Brian's book taking off, Stewie becomes his publicist and starts to land him some primetime spots talking about his success.
Right? Yes, it is. Now, which one is that? I always forget. Is that the one that really happened or not?
God damn it!
He always hoped his books would incite. And of course, this tiny little crumb of fame and recognition is enough to turn Brian into a self-absorbed jerk, telling people off and trying to slip his number to a girl wanting an autograph.
I'm a little freaked out.
Hey, congratulations. Somebody famous now hates you.
Famous is being pretty generous. Thing is probably a lot more accurate. But Brian continues to let the newfound attention get to his head, eventually becoming so ungrateful that he ends up turning hostile towards the guy who actually got him to where he is.
Look, I have written a best-selling phenomenon. I should be sitting in the front damn room.
You'd think that book included the cure for cancer based on how he's acting. If anything, reading that thing probably speeds up the dying process if you read enough of it.
What's
Makes
up,
the point
Megan?
where Brian ends up firing Stewie when he doesn't accurately prepare him for his appearance on Real Time with Bill Maher.
I am done with you. Do you hear me? Done. Get out of here now. Brian, please, you're fired.
Sorry, Stewie, but mediocrity has Brian's in need of a good dressing down, and all it takes is putting him in a room with a few people willing to call him out on his book's BS.
What books like these suggest is actually damaging to a large, gullible segment of the population.
Sounds like a guy who couldn't wish it, want it, or do it. And yes, wish it and want it are
Really?
two very different things that honestly you need to have a
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Phase 44.
Because I don't play with people, man. Yeah, it also depends if you're a child as well, because I really don't want to associate with myself with anyone under 18.
I think you're totally getting the wrong impression. I'm just trying to write something that's I think it's crap too. And it sounds like you had the right impression all along. The least you could do with pushing your own crap is not be disgusted by the smell of it. That's a metaphor because
you're a grown up. Okay. Oh my god, the triangle storm. The Fortnite man is less nice than... Okay.
Well, never fear, because there's someone who loosely classifies well, this crowd was Stewie really should have broken that spray bottle out a while ago, like back when Brian first had thoughts about becoming a writer. But if he did, we wouldn't have this video, so I guess that's a small silver lining. And Brian would briefly transition from author to playwright, writing a stage play called A Passing Fancy that sees some success in Brian's play, but quickly gets overshadowed by Stewie's superior work.
I'm so excited for Brian. Remember, kids, if it's terrible, at the end we all say, you did it.
Together in the game because you kind of suck. Okay, well yeah, we're playing duos.
Oof, now I need to go back and reevaluate every compliment I've ever received. But to Brian's credit, his play seems to actually resonate with people to the point where they refrain from throwing garbage at the stage.
What's it called?
A Passing Fancy. Oh! That's the name of this play.
I'm surprised it's not too deep for Peter. Then again, that's probably more of an insult than a compliment. But the show ends up getting rave reviews, giving Brian a moderate hit.
If you see only one play as an adult, I urge you to see this one.
Kinda sounds like the writing of a guy who has only seen one play in his life. And of course, that good review is enough to pump hot air into his head until Brian thinks he's the second coming of George Bernard Shaw.
I mean, what's a rainbow's process?
Starting your theme, okay.
1 part sun, 1 part childlike wonder.
And Brian is 1 part helium, 1 part BS. Some good does come from this, though, as this success for Brian actually inspires Stewie to write his own play, hoping that Brian could help give him some pointers. But in this case, the student has surpassed the, well, not master. I need to come up with something more derogatory.
God, it's miraculous.
So Brian does all he can to undermine and downplay Stewie's writing ability because there can only be one talented person in the house, and Brian refuses to be overshadowed by the baby who's built a teleporter, a time machine, and nuclear weapons. Yeah, now's the point that Brian should start feeling inadequate.
It wasn't good. Oh, no, really? Oh, I worked so hard on it.
But as long as that script exists, Stewie has the chance to achieve greater fame than Brian, so Brian does his best to try and hide the play. Unfortunately, Brian's as good at hiding things as he is at writing, easily foiled and one-upped by a baby.
I found this buried in the backyard next to your soup spoon.
Dang, how did hiding the play in the same place to hide everything not work? Serial killers make this stuff look so easy. And Stewie is well aware his script is not only good, but leagues better than what Brian cooked up.
It's filled with terrible double entendres, puns, and stolen bits. There's a line in there from Seinfeld.
Rookie mistake, Brian. You gotta steal from shows nobody watched. Heck, this entire video is just stolen word for word from an episode of Joey. Brian's pretty self-conscious about his writing talent, so maybe Stewie's a little harsh. But let's be real, Brian needed to have this shouted at him through a megaphone right next to his ear.
Your play panders to the lowest common denominator, Brian, and it doesn't even do that well.
Get him! Get the Dark Harvester. Only if I had a sniper, man. Alright, where do you want to go, man? Alright, ping where you want to land, man. Candy strip will do.
Back from the dead, he decides to re-enter television writing by continuing to worm his way onto a show in Brian's Bad Father. It's almost
Okay.
like a universe design. I don't know, they have worked together or something. I don't know. The universe is about you reaching out and calling your son after all these years. Funny how that works. So when Dylan starts the show, Brian decides to finally buddy up with him so he can land a gig in the writer's room. If I had seen class holes on the
Ah,
guy's
crap, I ain't got a gun.
resume,
Este pedazo. Ah, damn.
So, you know, here, I'm just one of the guys, all right? Well, right?
I'm sure someone's got a copy in their bathroom somewhere. Not for some light reading, but just in case of emergency if they ever run out of toilet paper. And it doesn't take long for Brian's pseudo-intellectualism to infect the show's writing like a poison.
Stakes, twists, conclusions. Twist to you. That sounds made up.
All words are made up, idiot. But Brian's actually pretty indicative of how so many idiots get so far into these kinds of roles. You can know next to nothing, but as long as you sound and act like you might know something, that can take you pretty far.
Art is scary. This is writing, man.
At this point, surprised he's even worked out what he's meant to be doing. But it doesn't seem like many of the writers are buying what he's selling, so Brian decided to take some great liberties and change the script about them.
Yeah, you got Swiss cheese. Yeah, I did.
Brian has truly captured the minds of the show's demographic. Unfortunately, the showrunner just can't comprehend his creative vision, so he kicks him to the curb.
Sorry, Brian, but you're done. Oh, come on. You can't fire a writer in the middle of a show.
Sure you can. We fired the writer of this script like a few sections ago, and I bet you didn't even notice. We like to keep things fresh, so we usually fire our writers a quarter of the way through. Our taxes are a nightmare. And thus ends
Okay, man. Ping where you want to land, bro.
credibility and lost the respect of his son. But who cares? Can't put that on the resume. But it's clear Brian's novel is still near and dear to his heart. And things were getting better. Take the SATs for her, and now we're gonna Brian.
I was thinking about you. You know how I love you.
You caught a big ass fish. It's cool. I really want to play fishing. I want to get back into Overwatch as well. Yeah, I was actually like wanting to play Overwatch today, but I guess I forgot. Because it looks a lot nicer with like the rebrand them going back to Overwatch instead of Overwatch 2. And then they added a cat that like flies around and stuff. Looks cool. Oh, come on. There we go. How are you not dead? That should have been like a clear, like, 160. See, 134. How did I hit that guy for 115? Crazy. Nice.
Are you saying Brian should put shackles and chains on his creative intuition? Or do you mean legally? Yeah, legally he can't do that. We got another decade.
There's a mini.
Someone needs to legally step in and stop him, not just for this, but to keep him from writing anything ever again. And while we guess this doesn't count as him writing something, the episode For I, Robot does revolve around him creating his autobiography through the robotic copy built by Stewie.
I just want my story to live on, even after I'm gone.
Bet.
You know, I always did want to write my autobiography.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Alright, we're going down here.
It might not be so hard if Stewie decides to work now.
I'll help you write your biography. Really? You do that?
With acclaimed playwright Tony Dovolani in this corner, this might actually turn out to be something people want to look at.
Espresso experiment.
Stewie's idea for Brian's autobiography turns out to be a little bit unconventional.
Job. Supply job. See, can I get these bad boys? No, I cannot see them.
We are truly doomed. All we'll have to remember of the past is a talking dog.
Oh no.
Oh.
And now we are stuck in the history.
Oh, there's two guys. Oh.
robot just becomes another way for Brian to reaffirm himself and things he does not need reaffirmed, like believing his book is actually good. Yeah, this is pretty much the only way this could have gone. Robot Brian is just a tool to be used by Brian to stroke his
You gotta switch up here, man. I also got a car.
Of everything he hates about himself too. Honestly, it pretty much lies by my honor.
It's my job to break. Fight them off to the green pasture.
Sweet, I got gold now. Buy things.
That wasn't clear. He didn't even do anything. He just changed the margin on the document. Clear what Stewie's intention with this robot was.
You wanted to write your autobiography, and I needed to show you that no one wants to read your autobiography.
Ooh, big dude. What happens if you launch a vehicle at the harvester? Oh, wait. I want to get my priorities straight first. So I watch two girls fight. You're just sitting here and instigating. The other girl's been wanting to fight you. That's crazy.
You know, I'm having a little publishing party on Thursday. I'd love it if you could come. But lo and behold, Brian actually has himself a book and manages to pull a halfway decent turnout to his reading. So I turned to...
I want to try and get a self-res. I gotta. It's mandatory.
Your bills and save money and time. Money and time. Go download the app today.
I hit one of them for about like 75. Ooh, a sniper! It's perfect. Careful, bro. They're both gonna beam you. How many of them were dead? Oh, wait, hold up. Oh crap, he's coming down. He's coming down to get you.
Which I'm sure he'll cherish forever.
I think. Hey, he made it. Alright. Yo, go to yeah, go this way. This guy. Oh, Flowberry miss. Ooh. Play Fortnite, you're good, but when you play COD, you're a bot. That's cool, I guess. Hey, down here. The Cadillac, my Cadillac. There's also a gold assault rifle.
My best friend, my inspiration, and the only person who truly gets me. I owe you everything.
Brian should have a moral right to beat Stewie to death with that book. It might not be a good book, but at least
he's gonna reboot something. bro. Keep running. Going up here. Come on, give me a shockwave. Oh, triple sniper is cool.
Joe to help him with a case he couldn't solve in Supermarket Pete.
Watching TikToks of underage girls, also part of your writing process.
Buddy, it's part of every single one of his processes. But Brian's struggling to become inspired for his next writing project. That is until Joe starts talking about his several murder cases.
Got him.
The perfect crime. It just always goes to show that your culprit is always the one who
Boss
has the most evidence
is
stacked up
sober
against
in the
them. No need
lot.
to look too deep, though. You'll know when you've got enough to call it. So Joe lets Brian go through the police station's case files.
Better
for
be the good
inspiration,
boss.
and the two decide to team up to turn tragedy into cash.
I'm thinking we go novel, podcast, docuseries.
Oh wait,
and
the boss is
all
dead?
It's the perfect pipeline, and you know, maybe
Yeah, the
the
boss
families
is
can have a little bit
dead.
of the proceeds. Look,
Hmm.
if they wanted all the attention, they should have been the ones to
I
get
bet you
murdered.
it's Hush because the assault rifle
So
is
Brian and Joe
okay.
get right to work
Yeah,
on
it
the
was
big
Hush,
cash
that was
grab.
right.
No one from Beverly Hills had ever been strangled by their own cheerleader skirt before.
Something Ryan Murphy would make, where a murderer's hot and the killer's dang, there's just something about him that makes him dress up as him for Halloween.
Oh crap.
So they decide to talk to the victim's parents first, with as much grace as they can muster, with millions of potential dollars on the line.
We're writing a future hit novel.
Wait, how are you still alive if you don't have a self-res? Oh no, wait. No, you didn't even have a self-res, interesting.
But while dropping a log on their lawn, Brian discovers a box buried in the ground.
Look!
When they go check out the storage locker, they're intercepted. What they do, capitalizing on other people's pain. Writers like Brian were doing it first. Respect your elders, know your role, and stay in your lane.
Big fan of your work. No one turns another person's suffering into profit better.
And all it takes is a little bloodshed to make Joe and Brian realize they're no better than them. So the case will have to remain cold, but at least these two reaffirm their friendship. Well, are they friends? Or are they just acquaintances
I
connected
gotta
by
wait
Peter?
7
Wouldn't want to put
minutes
labels
now.
on anything.
It was nice to spend some time with someone who actually believed in my writing.
Well, as someone who's never read a book, I absolutely do.
But Brian would return to the world of Faster Than the Speed of Love and Fahrenheit 451 when the book finally finds an audience, though it's not exactly the kind of audience he was hoping for.
And they want to change the books you read because they think you can't handle it.
So while Brian is rallying against book censorship, he gets mistaken for someone fighting against the woke mobs coddling books from the past. Brian will just identify as anything based on who's willing to give him the time of day.
We think our viewers would really appreciate it. Absolutely. Call me.
Unfortunately for Brian, that guy works for Fox News. That'd be like Luke Skywalker working with the Empire. Well, Brian's not really much of a Luke Skywalker type. But, I don't know, Claude?
I just want books to be left alone. This has nothing to do with the migrant crisis.
You're right. It has everything to do with it.
While Brian failed to get his point across, it did lead to a renewed interest in his novel.
My
as it
mama
started to
was
become widely
raised
accepted
in
by
the
those on
era
right.
when clean water was on.
It's back on the shelf.
Really?
Nice.
If abandoning your morals to pander to the people you dislike counts as noise, then yeah, I guess this is pretty noise. But any publicity is good publicity, so Brian agrees to do a reading at a gathering for conservatives.
I can't believe you're setting out like this.
No, he left the party, man. I don't know.
And the thing about consuming things raw is that there's an even higher chance it'll kill you. So, hey Brian, can I interest you in some of your raw art? But when a far left group comes to protest the reading, Brian finds his snaps on both sides.
You wimps want to edit any book that hurts your precious feelings. And you freaks just want to ban books altogether.
Finally, someone brave enough to take the centrist stance. Where would we be without fence sitters like Brian? But once the crowd actually reads the book, they realize it's nothing to sweat over.
There's a map at the front that doesn't
Probably
Every
trying to
sentence
use
starts
it
with
again.
and
Probably.
Who knew slop like that would be enough to bring people on both sides of the aisle together? Maybe Brian should keep writing, because hidden somewhere in those tired cliches and blatant plagiarisms might just be the secret to world
He
peace.
said that he was going live,
Decides to
so
publish Mark
yeah.
Twain's iconic work, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, after the time-displaced writer becomes obsessed with modern trappings in Twain's world. What do you think we should write about?
Well, the best stories are all about a man and a boy on an unsupervised journey.
He's got a point there. There's The Road, Temple of Doom, Three Men and a Baby. That last one's the best, you see, because 3 is better than 1. But while they brainstorm and ponder, Twain starts to become obsessed with the magical technological devices of today, and all of the naked women that can be found on them.
What is a Latina? It's like a regular woman, but different.
They are live, so yeah.
I guess we know who's up, Mark.
More than likely. You can stream on Switch, that's cool. My mama was raised in the era when clean water was only served to the fair skin. Cotton myself. Bound, 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 bound. What you want? A Bentley, a fur coat, a diamond chain? All you blacks want all the same thing. Bound, everybody's a new slave, and baby, baby. Ranger Soul Rifle, huh? 2 minutes till the one thing spawns. I don't know if I should like get floors or just rebirth. Keep rebirthing. Hey Robert, what does that mean? PVQ, what? Please mark it upset. What do you mean, unk? What do you mean, unk? Unk, unk, unk. Unk, 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 unk. Market manipulator badge grind. Bro! Are they just coming out with like a badge every week or something? Because I thought you said that you were done grinding that shitty thing you call a dank memer. It's like those last 2 badges you can grind this easily. Okay, Onk, okay. Whatever you say, Onk, whatever you say. But tonight is double XP day. Nerd! Rebirth milestone reward. It's cool. Keep your stream open for entertainment though. Start saying the N-word repeatedly. And something about other people promoting their live stream or trying to use it for content. Yeah. I mean, I'm getting my stuff promoted too, though, so. Oh, 6 wheel spins! Okay, let's try this one. That! Okay. Lucky ATM, going to reroll. Watch the stream, not the description. Exactly, bro. That's legit always the, yeah, whatever it's called. Oh, Robert! Robert, look what I got! Robert, look what I just got! Robert, look at that! Robert, look at that! Robert, look at that! Robert! Fucking shot, baby! I already locked it, Unc. I already locked it. But that's like my 10th spin. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, you had about, like, you wasted like hours of your life. Claim. Oh, that's a dookie wall paint. They're painting me off! Boom, 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 boom. I'd say that was a good roll, though. I'm not. But I'd say that was a good roll. I think the bonus skill points are pretty good. Yeah, what does this buff do? Wow, that was a really great buff. Alright, well, this sucks. Like, Robert, what exactly does this buff do? Just increase, like, your luck or something? Or does it have a chance to where, like, it doesn't count as, like, a wheel spin and, like, you get, like, an extra one because it doesn't use one? 2 extra rewards. Oh! It's really good with upgraded wheel. No way! No way! Is it really good with the better wheel? How do you get the upgraded wheel? Rebirth 50 or 100, you don't know which, huh? Robert, you never know. 'Cause you stupid! You're not stupid, Robert. You're my little pookie. My little pookums. Yes, you are. Yeah, you are. Who's in my little pookums? Who's in my little pookum? Oh, yeah, yeah. Robert! Robert the little pookums. Robert the little pookums. Oh, yeah, yeah, you are. Starts having a seizure on live TV. Top floor portal. Boom, 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 boom. Grapple glove. Hey Robert, I'm working on a new hide and seek, not the pretty one, but is bro the victim? I didn't necessarily give up on the pretty one. I just sort of like got bored of it. But my new one is peak. My new one is like really peak. Trust me, Robert, you're gonna like. I'm gonna show it to you. I'm gonna show it to you. You're going to see the new peak hide and seek. And you're going to see the first POI that's added as well. I'm scratching my balls. Oh! Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Let me guess, it's AJ's house. Maybe. Funny hide and seek. I wonder what's so funny about it, Robert. I wonder what's so funny about it. Wait, which corner? I think it's this corner. It's not that corner, it's this corner. Gotta look down so that way it doesn't necessarily... Bricked Up Industries! Bricked Up Industries! Ooh! Isn't it beautiful, Robert? Isn't Bricked Up Industries beautiful? I want to work on TS though, so yeah. What the fuck? Ah! Alexander Wayne, new slaves. Bah, 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 bah. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I really don't know which one. Like, I'm thinking that this is like the line where the cars pull up, but at the same time, I'm thinking that this is the line where the cars pull up. So, like, what the hell? Choose which walkway you want to use. Still managed to make the house look look like a... Yeah, it's called Bricked Up Industries. That's the joke. It's a penis. It's an erect penis. It's Bricked Up Industries. That's why it's a penis. I could have gone Microsoft. I really don't know which one it's supposed to be, but I'm thinking it's like the lines. Like, I'm thinking that this is where the cars pull up to, and then this is where you cross. I don't know. This one is dumb. Like, was it supposed to be like one textures on one side, but then it just ended up like this? Because, like, they're both, like, feasible walkways. But I'm really thinking that, like, the cars pull up here, or like their front wheels go into this one. Anyway, they don't know you like I do. Alexander when you slays. Yo, I don't know if, like, you're gonna be able to help me with this problem, Death, but there's, like, this song I've been trying to look for, and I know the rhythm of it, but I don't know the lyrics, so I really can't go on Spotify and, like, try to find it. I think it is an Ariana Grande song. I know it's a female artist singing it. I think it's an Ariana Grande song, but it's like... Oh, and Death is gone. Polygonal penis. Ooh. What's with these homies dissing my girl? Why do they gotta front? Ooh. What if I grab this bad boy? What does this carpet look like? Oh yeah, matches the red very nicely. What would it look like if I just made it big? Like... That really does not look bad at all. Use that and save memory. Might as well. Why the fuck is the floor so big? Memory saving.